Hello everyone, I'm Geek Freak and welcome to the video. To my fellow Yu-Gi-Oh fans, is there a certain card that you like? It can be either monster, magic or trap, or is there a certain card mechanic that you like discarding a card from your opponent's hand, or banishing cards, or do you like the level up cards, or do you like the attributes and the types of monsters? Now I'm sure there's a card or cards in general that you guys like, and I'm sure that there's a type of card mechanic that you guys like to use in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, or using a certain archetype like dragons, spellcasters, zombies, dinosaurs, etc, etc. And you know what? I have my favorites too, and there are cards out there that I do like but I wouldn't use in a deck. And I do have my favorite sort of card mechanics, which are discarding your opponent's cards from his hand. There's the coin toss and the dice roll, and a few more others that I like. But there are card mechanics out there that have been left in the dust and forgotten by the Yu-Gi-Oh community. Some were good, some were bad, and some of them had some really good potential. And there is one card that had so much potential but never went anywhere, and that card was the Time Wizard. Now, when it came to the Time Wizard, if you guessed right, you would destroy all your opponent's monsters. But if you guessed wrong, your monsters would be destroyed and you would lose life points. I think it was equal to half, or it was equal to the tap points that the monsters had, and they would do damage to your life points. Now, when it came to Time Wizard, you had a 50-50 chance of success with this card. But if you was to lose the coin toss, not only would you lose your monsters, but you would get the damage from your destroyed monsters' attack points. So really, you got the raw end of the deal if you was to lose with Time Wizard. But saying that, I think Time Wizard was meant to be on the field all alone if you was to use its effect. And you know what, I really do wish they made an upgrade to Time Wizard, because you know, the effect really does seem unfair. And yes, I know that's what it was like in the anime. Listen, I'm not knocking that. But at the same time, when it comes to cards being made into the real world, they have altered cards' effects to something different. Like there was the card of Sanctity. In the anime, its effect was both players draw until each has 6 cards in their hand. That was in the anime. But when they made it into a real card, its effect is banish all cards you control and in your hand draw until you get 2 cards in your hand. And I'm like, what the hell? I mean, yes, I can understand why they did this, but this is one example of them changing card effects. And you know what? They should make the cards into real life like there was in the anime, and not just change the effect. But yeah, I'm going off track. If they can do that with cards like Card of Sanctity, then they should do it with Time Wizard. Like maybe, if the coin toss is right, not only will you be able to destroy all your opponent's monsters, but they will also take damage equal to half their monsters' attack points. I mean, why is it that the controller of Time Wizard takes damage if you're wrong, and not your opponent? So yeah, I definitely think they should update Time Wizard. And yes, I know Time Wizard as a updated version that does that, and it was called Time Wizard of Tomorrow. And Time Wizard of Tomorrow, effect is of what I just said. I mean, it is a decent card, but you do have a 50-50 chance, which is why I don't think it would be in any tournaments. And also, we all know that Time Wizard has a fusion called Time Wizard of Tomorrow, but it also has another fusion called Time Magic Hammer. If you guys want to go and read what that card is all about, please go and check it out, because Time Magic Hammer doesn't have any relevance to what I'm about to say about Time Wizard's missed opportune card mechanic. Now, when it comes to the other two things, well, when I mean two things, I mean 2 cards that are related to Time Wizard. Time Wizard also goes well with Dark Magician and Baby Dragon. Now, in the anime, if Dark Magician and or Baby Dragon is on the field, and you was to get a success with the coin toss, Baby Dragon would turn into a Thousand Dragon, and Dark Magician would become the Dark Sage. And not only that, your opponent's monsters would either be weaker or they would be destroyed. So not only will your opponent's monsters be destroyed, you'll have a monster like Dark Sage or Thousand Dragon on your side of the field, including Time Wizard, to attack your opponent's life points directly. And if you was to have Dark Sage on the field, you would get a monster that has 3200 defense points and 2800 attack points. And not only that, you can add 1 spell card from your deck to your hand. I mean, yeah, Dark Sage is not a card that you can just write home about saying like, oh, I've got Dark Sage on the field. I mean, its effect to add 1 spell card from your deck to your hand is pretty damn good. But Dark Sage is kind of a brick. Yes, B-R-I-C-K. brick. Yeah, Dark Sage belongs into your main deck, not the extra deck, like where Thousand Dragons belongs. I mean, why is it that Thousand Dragons comes from the extra deck while Dark Sage comes from the main deck? But you know what? Who knows? I mean, X-Seeds come from the extra deck, Link Monsters come from the extra deck, Synchros come from the extra deck, Fusions come from the extra deck, Thousand Dragon came from the extra deck, and Aether Fusion. But you know what? I don't mind this if a monster comes from the extra deck or the main deck. And when it comes to Time Wizard, Baby Dragon, and Thousand Dragon, it's not like it is in the anime. You actually have to have a polymerization and fuse these monsters together, which I found odd. So is Thousand Dragon a Time Dragon or what? But Dark Sage seems to have the effect done right like it was in the show. Like if Dark Magician is on the field and Time Wizard's effect was a success, you can bring out Dark Sage and Time Wizard would still be on the field. And if you ask me, I think that should have been the same for Thousand Dragons and not be a fusion between Time Wizard and Baby Dragon. Now, I'm going to get to the bone as to why I made this video. You've heard me talking about the Time Wizard and what it can do in its fusions and so on. But if you ask me, I think Time Wizard's card mechanic was a wasted opportunity. If you guys don't know, I've always said in my other Yu-Gi-Oh videos that Time Wizard was a missed opportunity of bringing out more monsters, like with Baby Dragon and Thousand Dragon, or Dark Magician with Dark Sage. I mean, come on, you guys can't tell me that you wouldn't want to see more powerful cards being brought out thanks to Time Wizard. And now, I'm not talking about, oh, you can use polymerization to fuse Time Wizard with Baby Dragon, but like it was in the show, where Time Wizard uses its effect, and Baby Dragon is on the field with Time Wizard, and if it's a success, you could bring out Thousand Dragon, and Time Wizard would still be on the field with Thousand Dragon. The same thing with Dark Sage. And that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to give you guys some examples of monsters that could be used with Time Wizard. But before I do that, I just want to say this. In my opinion, I think Thousand Dragon should get an update. Instead of fusing Time Wizard and Baby Dragon together, its effect should be like what it was in the show, where you would get Thousand Dragon and Time Wizard on the field instead of just fusing them. And not only that, I think Thousand Dragon should have an effect to it. I'm not sure what, but I'm just giving it out an example. Or here's another example. What if there was another version of the Thousand Dragon, like 2000 Dragon, or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 Dragon? You know, it could be like something like what the level up cards would do. So with every form, it would get more powerful and get a better effect. But yeah, I'm just throwing that out there. That's just an idea if they wanted to update the Thousand Dragon. And they could also do the same with Dark Sage, like give him an update. I mean, come on, they did the same thing with Armed Dragon, and now we've got Thunder Armed Dragon. They should totally do that for the modern era of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, now that I've got those suggestions out of the way for Thousand Dragon and Dark Sage, let's talk about other cards that could be used with the Time Wizard. And I'm talking about cards that was like the Thousand Dragon and Dark Sage, not fusion monsters like Time Wizard of Tomorrow or the Time Magic Amma. Well, I do have a few ideas on which cards they could use alongside Time Wizard. Now listen, if there's any cards you guys think that will work well with Time Wizard, please let me know in the comment section below, because all ideas are welcome, but there's going to be 1 or 2 rules when it comes to Time Wizard. Because remember, in the show, it was said that 1,000 years go by when Time Wizard uses its effect. That's why Baby Dragon is now called Thousand Dragon, because 1,000 years have already passed. And when it comes to magic users like the Dark Magician, magic users or magic creatures do seem to live a very long time. You know, like spellcasters, dragons, elves, and all that stuff. So the cards that would work well with Time Wizard would have to be believable. And yes, I know this is just a card game, and this is all just fantasy, but let me ask you guys this. If you used to use Time Wizard on a dog, and 1,000 years went by, that dog is going to be dust. So Time Wizard can't just work on any card. It has to be in the realms of believability, because there are spellcasters or wizards can live for like hundreds of years. The same with dragons, elves, that sort of thing. So monsters like Beaver Warrior isn't going to last 1,000 years. Again, it has to be in the realm of believability. Like, here's another example. If the Flame Swordsman was on the field and 1,000 years went by, the Flame Swordsman would be dust because he's only human, he's a warrior. So it has to be something believable that would last 1,000 years or more. And number 2, the more younger looking the monster, the more credibility it will have of being a very powerful monster. Again, like Baby Dragon and Thousand Dragon. But who knows? maybe Thousand Dragon can live much longer than that. So let's just say, for example, that you've got like another baby looking monster, and that's just that, a baby, or an infant, and, well, I'll get to that when I get to that, and you guys will see what I'm trying to say. So remember, if you guys have any monster suggestions that will work well with Tom Wizard, please let me know in the comments below. And just to let you guys know, during my research for this video, I did try to look up on which sort of magical creature lives for a very, very long time. And yes, I know it's fantasy, it's not real, but I was looking for magical creatures for this reason. Like, for example, dragons, there was witches, warlocks, wizards. They've been known to live for a very long time. There was demons, or aka fiends, and another one, elves. I know these are the sort of creatures that would live for a very, very long time. And a few more comes to mind, but I'll tell you guys about that later on which card works with Tom Wizard. So yeah, I did look up for magical creatures that would live for a very, very long time for this occasion for Tom Wizard. And with that said, let's go on to my suggestions of what sort of monsters can work well with Tom Wizard. Now remember, if you guys have any ideas on what monster would work well with Tom Wizard, please let me know in the comments below. And with that said, let's move on to my suggestions. And to start off with, I think we should take a look at other monsters that was in Yugi's deck in Duelist Kingdom. Because remember, Tom Wizard used to be Yugi's monster until he gave it to Joey. Because remember, Yugi has Dark Sage. So who's to say that there isn't other monsters that as an evolved form, like Thousand Dragon and Dark Sage. Like, for example, the Summoned Skull. And obviously, the Summoned Skull is a demon. I mean, for all we know, 1,000 years passed, and the Summoned Skull could have gotten much more powerful. Maybe he could be like the King of the Demons. He could be called the King Summoned Skull. And there's also Cursed Dragon. And yes, I know Cursed Dragon works well with Gaia the Fierce Knight, alongside its other counterparts. But come on, Cursed Dragon looks like a demon dragon. I do like Cursed Dragon, and dragons do live for like hundreds of years, so that's an idea. And there's Yugi's other card, Celtic Guardian, and obviously this guy is an elf, and in fantasy, elves lives for a very, very long time. So who's to say, if Tom Wizard was to work on the Celtic Guardian could be an extremely powerful elf warrior after 1,000 years. And there's also Yugi's other elf, Mystic Elf, and Mystic Elf is a spellcaster. So Mystical Elf is in the realms of possibility of staying alive for about 1,000 years. I mean, for all we know, after 1,000 years, her defense could be like 5,000 or something. And listen, these are the only monsters in Yugi's deck, besides from Dark Sage, that I can think of that might actually work with the Tom Wizard. Because, you know, these monsters are in the realm of possibility of them working with the Tom Wizard. But if you guys think there are other monsters in Yugi's deck that could work well with the Tom Wizard, please let me know in the comment section below. And now, there's another elf, but wasn't in Yugi's deck. Well, to my knowledge anyways. There was the Gemini Elf. Again, very self-explanatory. Because, you know, elves live for a very long time. And they're spellcasters. So, that's one idea. Now, I know this next one is going to be a really good idea for evolution with the Tom Wizard. And it is Rioran. Now listen, we've already had Baby Dragon. And over 1,000 years, it becomes a Thousand Dragon. And Baby Dragon is just that, a baby. But when it comes to Rioran, he is literally an egg. Well, a newly born dragon. He has literally just been born. I mean, come on, look at the stats on this thing. 2,200 attack and 2,600 defense. Imagine how powerful Rioran would be after 1,000 years. I mean, if Baby Dragon can do it, then why not Rioran? And not to mention that Rioran actually has a toon counterpart, and it's called Manga Rioran. But hey, I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, imagine how powerful Rioran would be after 1,000 years. And it would have a good effect. I mean, that would be awesome. And its attack power would be like 2 or 3 times much more powerful. Like Ultimate Adult Rioran. And it's not just Rioran, there's also other egg monsters. There's the White Stoner Legend, which is an egg of the Blue Eyes White Dragon. And there's Black Dragon Chick, which is obviously the Red Eyes Black Dragon Chick. I mean, yeah, technically, the White Stoner Legend and the Red Eyes Black Chick already has their adult forms, the Blue Eyes White Dragon and the Red Eyes Black Dragon. And the Tom Wizard has been used against the Blue Eyes White Dragon and the Red Eyes Black Dragon. And those monsters have either been destroyed by Tom Wizard or was about to be destroyed by Tom Wizard. And that's kind of understandable if you think about it, because the red eyes and the blue eyes are at the peak of their prime. I mean, let's just say for example that the red eyes and the blue eyes could live up to, I don't know, like 1,000 years or 1,200 years, just for example, but their prime age would be 600 years. So of course the Time Wizard is going to destroy the red eyes and the blue eyes. But what if the Time Wizard was used alongside the red eyes and the blue eyes egg? 1,000 years goes by and the blue eyes and the red eyes would have much more older forms, but have much more powerful attacks and effects if 1,000 years passed. And there's other baby dragons as well. There's like the Harpy's Pet Baby Dragon. Like, what if 1,000 years went past? You could have a card like something like Harpy's Pet Elder Dragon or something. That would be a lot of fun. And there's other egg monsters as well. There's Winged Egg of New Life, which is a fairy, and it's obviously a newborn. There's Winged Egg Elf. I mean, these two are both fairies. So imagine what they would look like in 1,000 years. And there's also this other monster that's an egg, and it's called Monster Egg. I mean, imagine how powerful this guy would be if he was a fully formed adult. Now, the next three are going to be vampires. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Vampire Baby. Now, if you guys know the general idea of how vampires work, they are basically immortal. So imagine 1,000 years go by, this Vampire Baby could get much more powerful in its attack status and its effect. And the next two are Zhengshi. Okay, I know I butchered the name up, but the Zhengshi are basically Chinese vampires. Now, in a video I saw a long time ago, I saw in a video that if a Zhengshi lives for a very, very long time, it becomes even more powerful as time goes by. And if the Zhengshi was to live for like tens of thousands of years, they become the Demon King. And this is the information I got from a video called 6 Types of Chinese Zombies / Vampires and How to Defeat Them. So I think the Zhengshi has a place with the Time Wizard. And I'm going to stop from there now, because I'm not going to go through every single Yu-Gi-Oh card in the game and say, oh, this card can go well with the Time Wizard, this card can do well with the Time Wizard, you know, etc, etc. Because that would take me a hell of a long time. I mean, there are cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh that could actually do the same with Baby Dragon, with Thousand Dragon. There is a possibility for other monsters to evolve thanks to the Time Wizard. Or, if they wanted to, they could create new monsters for the Time Wizard to use. And yes, I know this video was all over the place, but like I said, I love the card mechanic of Time Wizard. And for Time Wizard to have more cards for it to evolve over time is a great idea in my opinion. Now listen, if there's any cards in Yu-Gi-Oh that already exist now, or that was in the show, that deserves to be alongside Time Wizard, and why, please let me know in the comment sections below. And listen, I know this video has been vague, and I'm sure there's better candidates out there for the Time Wizard, and that is why I'm asking you guys, what other candidates could there be for the Time Wizard? I still say the card mechanic for Time Wizard should be explored a little bit more. 1,000 years gone past? Oh, your monster's about to be destroyed? Nope, it's evolved into something much more powerful. Dark Magician into Dark Sage, Baby Dragon into Thousand Dragon. There is so much you could do with the Time Wizard in evolving monsters. And if you ask me, I think that this is a card mechanic that definitely needs to come back. So, what do you guys think? Am I right? Am I wrong? Do you like this idea for Time Wizard? Are there other monsters that will go well with Time Wizard? What monster would you like to see evolve? Please let me know in the comment section below, and let's get a discussion going. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. And if there's a series you want me to check out and review and give my thoughts on it, or if there's a top 10 list you want me to do, or any reactions, or responses, or rants on anything geeky, just leave links and comments in the comment sections below, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put the bell on, share this video, and leave a comment in the comment sections below. And as for my social medias, I'm literally freaking everywhere! I'm on most video platforms, social medias, forums, and support sites. It's best to pause the video and see where I am. Literally all of this is down in the description box below. So if you want to go and check those out, please do. I'm Geek Freak. Peace out.